Mentorship is so important for Black and brown women because we have to see ourselves in a different light. And for me, it was really important because I didn't really grow up seeing a lot of positive influences outside of TV in my community. And it meant the world to me when I did find mentors who looked like me that could share the experiences that I had, understood where I was coming from, and allowed me to blossom in my amazingness.
I met Miss Londo 3 years ago when I was unfortunately in a situation that caused me to move out the house, and I needed somebody who was gonna be somebody that was there for me. She became family, and after that, I just been with her ever since.
We do a lot. Just recently, we had Thanksgiving dinner, and she came over to help me cook. But other things that we've done, we've been on trips to the college tour, introducing her to educational and career opportunities. We have been on different activities such as going to the movies and just spending quality time together.
It was so important for me to mentor girls in the Black and brown community because I come in from a place of lack of resources, not seeing Black excellence in my community, especially in women. I just wanted to be that representation, and I wish that I had that when I was younger. And so me being able to be in that position and just helping somebody, and I'm a woman of color, is powerful. It's a dynamic.
The best thing I would say about having the mentor is someone like that could relate to you or knows the struggles that you've gone through. Alex understands me the same because we've gone through some of the same struggles about being the same color and how it had affected our life.
Representation matters, and kind of piggybacking off of what she said earlier, kind of having someone that you can relate to and just having that sort of representation is really important. A challenge that often comes up when working with a mentee, a lot of times in the beginning, is getting them to open up to you and trust you in the first place. Building that trust with your mentee is kind of a challenge, but once you get that trust, then it's really nice. As for my past experiences, I'm not much of a person who will open up and tell you about my emotions, so having my mentor is someone I trust, and so I open up more to my mentor.
Mentorship for me helped guide me when I didn't have the money to afford counseling or therapy. That mentorship stepped right in and assisted me and along my journey when I was having struggles, when I didn't understand academically, when I wanted to give up. My mentor pushed me and assisted me on how to adjust just different things in my life so that I can continue to stay focused and reach my goals.
Please welcome to the stage Jimena Delgado, Senior Vice President of Bank of America.
Hello there, beautiful people. How are we doing today? Excellent. Well, I'm honored to be here on behalf of Bank of America to present the Lifetime Achievement Excellence in Mentoring Award. At Bank of America, we understand the crucial role mentoring plays, ensuring young people can reach their full potential, and we're proud to serve as partners in Mentor's important work. Today, I am excited to introduce the winner of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award, a true champion of mentoring, Darlene Marlin. Marlin is the Vice President of Access and Opportunity in Education and Youth Development Division of the National Urban League, where she directs the league's portfolio of K through 16 programs. She is an expert capacity builder and technical advisor, and her leadership has been pivotal in a number of successful projects, including the Project Ready College Access Program. Give it up. Marlene has pioneered spaces for transformative professional development sessions for mentoring leaders nationwide and has gained a reputation as a trailblazer in the field. She has created opportunities for the exchange of best practices and innovative methodologies that have elevated her standards of mentorship and led to a culture of continuous learning and growth. The creation of these spaces reflects the deep connection and commitment that Marlene has in developing the next generation of leaders with a profound sense of purpose and responsibility. Marlon is also committed to supporting young people on an individual level. The colleague who nominated her for this award shared the story of a high school senior in Philadelphia named Taya, who was chosen to serve on the National Urban League's Youth Council. Under Marlon's guidance, Taya discovered a passion for advocating for under-resourced communities and transformed from a hesitant teenager to a confident leader. In addition to becoming a leader in her community, Taya was empowered by Marlon's support to excel academically and secure acceptance at a prestigious university. Marlon's enduring commitment to the next generation, both through direct mentorship and strategic leadership, and her status as a visionary leader, continue to shape the trajectory of mentorship at a national scale. She has left an indelible legacy on the landscape of youth development. In recognition of a career devoted to uplifting young people, it is my great honor and pleasure to present this award to Darlene Marlon.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests and friends. Let me begin by giving a big shout out to my Urban League family. Please stand up. Please stand up. Stand up. Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. Thank you all. For you, I am. Without you, I am not. Thank you. Thank you to all my mentors who saw things in me I could not see in myself. The countless opportunities they've afforded me. A special thanks to Matthew Long from the Urban League of Greenfield for nominating me for this fantastic award. Your support and commitment to youth in the Urban League movement does not go unnoticed. To the National Urban League leadership team, our president and CEO, Mark H. Moriel, and Dr. Hal Smith, the SVP of programs, thank you. To Adia, boy, Adia. Thank you for your ongoing contributions. Specifically, thank you for helping me to fill the generation gap with our teams, partners, and friends. Your contributions don't go unnoticed. To my husband, Michael Marlon, and my children, Anthony, Nakima, Andrew, and Mylene, thank you for the sacrifices you make for me to do this job that has never been a 9-to-5 gig. Ooh, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why. Everybody who knows me knows I've never been a person at a loss for words, and I just gotta trust the process. To mentor, thank you for allowing me to lead the Urban League teams nationwide and present our signature program, Project Ready Mentor, to sell out crowds during this summit. Thank you for your ability to intentionally drive conversations that lead to culturally relevant research and evidence-based approaches to effective mentorship practices. Last but not least, I want to thank my Heavenly Father, God, and my parents for their support and blessings in this journey. Let me share a brief story highlighting my decision to become a servant leader. In 1998, I fell in love with serving my community. When I began my professional journey, I had an opportunity to attend the National Urban League's annual conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I recall looking over a crosswalk and seeing a sea of African-American professionals, and I was amazed. To put things in perspective, I grew up in Staten Island, New York. Many people don't know that Staten Island is the other borough. It is a borough of the 5 boroughs, but it is filled with Italian Americans. And at the time of my youth, I went to private school, I went to CUNY University, and to me, seeing this sea of African American professionals was mind-blowing. It was at that moment that I made up my mind that I was going to the National Urban League to serve urban communities across the country. At that time, I was working at the New York Urban League. The national journey has been so impactful in my career. During my 25 years of service at the National Urban League, I managed to go back to school and secure my master's degree in education. I taught 5th grade and 1st grade and moved through the ranks of the National Urban League while being a loving mom and wife. Well, That, I think, could be debated if you asked my husband, but I did my best, and it was always with good intentions and a strong heart and value system. My message today is a simple one. With hard work, passion, and commitment, you can make a difference. Even when you think no one sees it, people are watching. In conclusion, I am humbly grateful to Mentor, again, for this honor. Your unwavering support and commitment to youth have been a pillar of my journey. The Mentor work holds a special place in my heart. This honor is like receiving an Oscar for mentorship. I thank each of you from the bottom of my heart. Your presence and support are cherished gifts that I will always treasure. I look forward to continuing this incredible journey with passion, love, and support from each of you. Thank you for this unforgettable afternoon. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.
Please welcome Amira the poet.
This poem is entitled The Eulogy, speaking on the adultification and the experience of Black and brown girls. We are here today to celebrate the life of the old me. Let's take a moment of silence. R.I.P. to the old me, the type 2 blind to see reality who thought her dreams were as far as can be when really they were right there next to me. Too blind to realize she was that dream of her parents, of King, even of herself, who stored up her emotions and left them on the top shelf so she could put on her poker face and be who she was supposed to be, who laughed with her friends and sipped on that hot tea when the dark-skinned girl they were talking about had the same complexion as me, who in the back of her mind was self-conscious about what they might be saying behind my back. I didn't want to say something because I didn't want that friendship to crack when they were beating on the glass door, waiting for it to crack. You know, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. It was time for me to start facing it. I was the dog and they were the bone, and I was steady chasing it. Like I said, R.I.P. to the old me. R.I.P. to that sweet little baby who never even cried at night until she got around the age of 15, yelling, why, Black people are oppressed, were oppressed, and will be oppressed, and what can I do to stop it? Now the adults who saw me as a young baby who they never have to tell to stop it, wants me to stop it. Why are you yelling so loud, they say. I reply, because they not hearing me. Why are you yelling so loud, they say. I reply, because they're not feeling me. But you're so precious, you need to act like a treasure. I replied, maybe it's time for me to apply some more pressure. So here I am. We are here today to celebrate the life of the new me. I went through the process and let the Lord renew me. Round of applause, standing ovation. Oh wow, look at this wonderful creation. She was already born in God's image, but now she's walking in it. Taking that negative energy and flipping it. Look at her now, the truth, she's spitting it. Oh man, look at her go, she's really killing it. But it's not always about killing it, it's about feeling it. Because them loving you is one thing, but you loving you is different. So don't conform to other ways of thinking. But in this already systematically designed world, mentors help those Black and brown girls create their own blueprint. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Mentoring Black and Brown Girls podcast.
Well, welcome to DC and to the Girls of Color Thrive Healing and Resistance podcast for the Black and Brown Girls Mentoring Movement. I am Desiree Robertson, Director of Training and Product Design here at Mentor National and the leader of the National Black and Brown Girls Mentoring Movement. This has been 15 years in the making as my passion work, and I am so glad that you are here to be with us today. And this space is dedicated to empowering, inspiring, and celebrating the stories of Black and brown women and girls on their mentoring journey. So grab a seat, you are already seated, but lean in and let's dive into the conversation. I'd like to introduce my wonderful fellow podcast guests. We have Dr. Elizabeth Santiago, who is the CEO and the founder of the Untold Narratives. We have Marcus Struther, the CEO of Mentor California. Ms. Betty Hill, the Director of Youth Development Partnerships of Greater Metro Milwaukee. And finally, but not least, Tony Lampley, the interim CEO of Iowa Mentor. So I'd like to turn it off to kick us off to Marcus.
Yeah, well, I think it's intentional for us to really start where wellness leans into this piece. So I'm going to ask Dr. Santiago, can you take a moment and tell us how does wellness and thinking about the wellness wheel that we see in front of us really lead us into this work?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. For those of you who don't know, I was the former Chief Program Officer of Mentor National, and I was thrilled to be asked to come back and work on this particular project because, like Desiree, it is my passion work as well. And so being able to have the opportunity to come back and work with Mentor, its affiliates, and young people to determine what the needs are for mentoring Black and brown girls, to me was amazing. And so we started, or at least I started the work with questions. I had focus groups, we had discussion. I met with affiliates, I met with young people, and we came up with a list of things that young people asked for, and affiliates also asked for in terms of when we mentor young Black and brown girls. And the themes that emerged make up this wellness wheel that you see here in front of you. And there are amazing things like being aware of mental health, loving being Black and brown. We need to love ourselves, and that was a huge, huge part of the work that we talked about, being joyful and playful, and cultivating self-expression. These were some of the main topics that made it to the wellness wheel, and they are the overarching themes of the training that we developed.
That's beautiful. Well, we're going to give it to Des so she can get us started with a little bit more in the questions.
All righty. So, as affiliates of Mentor, why is the focus on Black and brown girls specifically important? And what are you seeing in your regions and your states?
I'll take that one, Tony.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
No, seriously, being a Black girl, a proud Black girl, representation matters. And at Mentor Greater Milwaukee and as affiliates, we know that that matters, and it's important for us to be the connector that we say we are, provide the resources, and make sure that our girls' voices are heard, because we know that there is a disproportionate amount where we see resources are in one area, and we're constantly pulling and pulling for more resources for our girls. So we up for the charge.
Yes. And I
Love
agree
it.
with you, Betty, because, you know, as affiliates, we also see that Black and brown girls, when we look at statistics, it's the loneliness and not being able to be included in a lot of different things. And then let's not forget that we have a lot of biracial young people out there that are trying to figure out their identities, the LGBTQ+. There's just so much in our culture and our neighborhoods that we just need to understand that we need to reach out there and give them some resources to feel worthy, to feel like their voice matters. And sometimes we don't see ourselves in certain spaces, like you said. So representation does matter, but also our mental health and our wellness and how we're coming to spaces with the talents that we have. Some places don't have the resources, and we're here to give all of that. So I'm hoping that this is a space where we can get this done and have some great conversations about worthiness and bringing their talents to the table.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, that's amazing. And I'll lean in. As Mentor California and thinking about us as men, right, or those who identify as male, this is our work too.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to make sure I stress that. This is our work too.
Yes, right. Yes.
So it's important for us to think about how do we become abolitionist hardware stores,
Come on.
right? Because we have systems that are strategically designed to make sure our young girls fail.
Period.
We got people showing up with good hearts disguised as good people.
Come on.
Really, in the words of my brother Chris Emden, they're frenemies, right? They have friend ideologies, but enemy execution. So how are we thinking about this work in a way where we can design abolitionist hardware stores that provide our babies with the tools
Yeah.
to build their own tables,
Absolutely.
to design their own chairs, to create their own boardrooms. But what that's going to take, and what we are trying to do at Mentor California, is to get adults to understand that we have to humble ourselves enough to be able to create spaces that allow young people to tell us what we need to do.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
If we can do that, then we can move to a space of liberation and not compliance. Because too often are we working on compliance and not liberation.
That's right.
So that's the work we want to do at Mentor California and with all of our affiliates and the national network as well.
That's great, Marcus. Thank you.
Love
So how was the training curriculum and accompanying toolkit designed? Please.
Yeah, so again, like I mentioned, we brought in affiliates, young people, to really inform the process of developing this curriculum. And then we had a chance to pilot it, which was amazing because in training development, we don't often get that luxury. And so I was able to come and pilot it, and Betty and Tony were part of that group. So I'd love to hear what you thought about that pilot.
No, well, I absolutely loved the experience and the time that we were able to be together as Black and brown women, first and foremost, because sometimes it's hard for us to come to the table to talk about these things. So I appreciated the space. But I loved our conversation about allyship, that we really thought hard with us at the table, that maybe perhaps allyship isn't something we should announce, but something that is already there, that already should. It's kind of like when you see a person and they say, hey, I'm humble. Well, are they really humble? Because they said they were humble. Like, wait. So that's the same way we felt about allyship. But if we weren't able to come together as Black women to talk about what allyship really meant, like, do we have to name it, or do you just come and be about it? And so that was something that I took away from our conversation, and that we maybe need to revisit allyship and maybe not name it, but claim it as its action worth.
And I really enjoyed the retreat and the application piece, and just being a part of creating the guided journal or the guided workbook that goes along with this, because oftentimes we create spaces where we're the trainers, or we don't really get to see it in action at that time. So just even having that time away to build connection with Liz, who I just fell in love with right away. You know, I feel like the girls, or those who have access to this work, will feel that through the heart and the effort that we put into this piece. So yeah.
That's beautiful, Betty. And it makes me think about, everybody loves Dr. Santiago. If y'all don't know,
yes,
make sure you run up and catch her at some point today. But you've done amazing work, Dr. Santiago. We'd love to hear from you in terms of cultivating self-expression. Why is that important? How have you weaved this into that? And just speak a little bit about some of the work that you've done around that.
So thank you. It was important for me to include that as part of the wellness wheel, and it's part of the work that we did mentoring Black and brown girls, because self-expression to me is at the heart of all of our work. And for me personally, I can tell you this, let me give you this tidbit. 3 years ago, I avoided this stage. When I was part of Mentor, you could not get me on this stage. And those of you who have been here for a while know, you rarely saw me on this stage. But after I wrote this book, I wrote The Moonlit Vine, a young adult novel dedicated to Black and brown girls. It opened up a communication for me, my own self-expression, my own voice. After all this time, I actually felt like I had power and a voice. And to be able to offer that in some way to young people, I think is amazing. Yeah. And so with that in mind, I launched a website called The Untold Narratives that help young people, older people, whomever, tell their story in whatever way makes sense for them, whether it's not just writing, it could be podcasting or videos, as you're gonna see some examples. And so as part of this work, we launched a fellowship. We should have called it a sistership, but a fellowship for young girls to tell their stories. So we had 5 young storytellers who were part of this, and I brought 2 with me today. So I'm very excited for them to have space and learn to use their voice earlier than I did, most certainly. And first, I would like to introduce our first our first storyteller, Journey Hightower. And so Journey, I'm going to look at my notes because I want to make sure I get this right. But she's a first-generation college student at the University of Kentucky. And she's majoring in psychology with a minor in gender and women's studies. And she looks forward to opening her own therapy practice one day, for kids and families, and she enjoys being able to inspire others and being the change she wants to see in the world. So she opted to do a podcast to tell her story. And so we're going to hear a little bit of that podcast and then have her come out and speak to her journey, to not to use that word again, but her name in this process. So.
Never let your skin define you. You didn't choose it. God chose it for you. So when I wear my black as if it's beautiful, because it is. I don't let others define what my black means to them, because I already know my black is beautiful. I'm grateful to be able to walk on my PWI campus as the black girl and show up as, oh my gosh, she looks so cute today. Like she da-da-da. Yes. Because you can't let other people dictate or control your beauty. That's an inside thing too, baby. It ain't always external. It's an inside thing as well. So I'm grateful for the years of tearing me down, because you built me into a humble beast of being a black girl. Those comments of, oh my God, you so black. You black as charcoal. I could do nothing but laugh now, because you funny. You thought those words were demons, but now they've enlightened me to humble me to know that, nah, you just didn't know enough of what a black, dark-skinned girl is capable and can do. But now I know I'm the prettiest girl. I think, and I want to share this quote with y'all, beauty is about being comfortable in your own skin. It's about knowing and accepting who you are. So as I start to close and wrap up on this certain topic of being true to your skin, know that once you accept who you are and know who you are, there's not a thing no one can take that from you from that. Beauty is literally what you make it. You can get up and do nothing to yourself, but how you show up and being comfortable, oh, nobody can knock and tell you nothing else differently about yourself. Queen, I can get up and just put Vaseline and go about my day, but I know, look, I'm beautiful. I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to always do the most to be beautiful and, accept it. This topic is so dear to my heart, and it means so much to me because I'm glad to be able to see other black girls flourishing and enjoying their dark skin.
Hi, my name is Journey Hightower, and I've been honored to share my story through the Black and Brown Girl Fellowship. A little girl ready to make sure that every black and brown girl know and feel that they're beautiful in their skin. 21 years later, and I know that I am beautiful. To Liz, thank you for letting the little hurt black girl feel whole again. Thank you for helping me understand the beauty of how powerful my voice is. The bruises and scars are removed because I speak for every black and brown girl. You're more than enough. The world was made for us to shine in it. So every day, see yourself as the light you are. I know it, and so do you. Thank you for listening to my journey. And again, know that beauty is within. Thank you.
Now, I just want to take a moment, especially to all my funders. There's your data.
Period.
Yeah, period. That's
Full
right.
stop.
Yes.
Human testimony is assessment.
Yeah.
You want to know if it works? There's your data.
Yeah.
Dr. Liz, I might be putting you a little bit on the spot because I know she called you out, but talk to us. How'd that make you feel?
Oh my gosh, I hadn't heard what she was doing, because that's part of this, right? When you cultivate someone's self-expression, you got to let them talk. So I had no idea what she was going to say, and so I was very moved, and yeah, I'm still a little.
Yeah, totally understand, totally understand. Betty, what stood out to you?
Man, just her reflecting on the names of burnt charcoal. And, you know, I've heard that as a little girl, but knowing who the woman I am now and taking those rocks that were thrown and just creating beautiful pottery out of them, because I'm lit.
Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, absolutely.
Love it, love it. Des, any reflection you have in there?
This is why I and all of us are doing this work.
Yep.
We have to believe in the power of mentoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in the programs. It can be informal.
Yep.
It can be a combo. It can be a word, a smile. When you see one of our beautiful black and brown girls, women, and I'll say everyone, we have to smile more. And so that's what I leave y'all with. Smile at the next person you see. Smile at the next person beside you. You never know.
Love that. Tony, I want to pass it to you real quick before I know Dr. Liz still has another special guest for us, but
I know.
anything you have to share?
I do. I think that what I get from this so much is that we get these microaggressions or these things that happen to us when we're tiny, when we're small, when we're just second grade. For me, it was second grade. You know, just these things. But what I learned is that people who are sure of themselves and know where they're going in life and have confidence, they don't see the need or feel the need to oppress another person. They just don't. And so how can we instill in our young people to see themselves worthy so that they don't feel the need to oppress another person?
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's out for all of us, but especially for our black and brown girls to feel good, to feel confident, to feel that you own it, you own your space.
Absolutely.
And it's super important. So, you know, that's what I take from that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we already, I know I started tearing up.
Right?
I'm just going to be
Thank you
honest.
for- Give me a little time.
Liz, what else you got for us?
I know, this is going to be quite a day. So we have another storyteller, which I'm excited to introduce. Also, her name is Mia Prince. She's also a student at the University of Kentucky, and she's majoring in sports communications with a double minor in journalism and fashion merchandising. Mia hopes to aid in the diversification of male-dominated fields through her efforts in becoming the representation for young Afro-Latina women.
Yes.
And she explored the topic of hair, which can be complicated for us for many, many racist reasons. But she wanted to talk about that, and so I turned it over to her to share that story with you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mia once again, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a video that I had the opportunity to create through the Black and Brown Girls Storytelling Fellowship. My motivation and inspiration for this video was to get myself to a comfortable point of vulnerability and additionally figure out if I could share one story with the world, what would it be? Through this opportunity, I was able to discover feelings I never even realized I had and emotions that I discovered. Without further ado, here's my video. Hello everyone, my name is Mia Prince and this is my story. Throughout my adolescence, I absent-mindedly struggled with different aspects of my identity, primarily the pattern of my hair and the way it curled, coiled, and twirled. It was a silent war between me and the soft brown spirals that formed their way out of the roots of my scalp. My coming-of-age story, a universal experience for every black or brown girl when they realize that they're different from all the rest for some rhyme or reason, was in second grade. 7 years and 5 months old, room 207 to the far left of the hallway with 26 students seated around in tables of 5. Of course, I'm in the odd table at 6. The teacher yells out, "Come on, students, everyone line up for lice checks." As I eagerly got up, I was quickly brushed back into my blue plastic chair and awarded an iPad preset with Angry Birds and softly whispered to, "It's okay, Mia, you can just stay and we'll be back for you soon." As I almost boisterously waved my classmates goodbye in a ha-ha, I get to play games while you get poked and prodded at type of manner, an almost empty, hollow feeling came over me with the crisp words, "You can just stay," echoing throughout my ears as I watched the birds fly across the screen. Why couldn't I go with the rest of my classmates? A part of me almost wished I had lice. It's just so I could go be with my friends and doing what the rest were. just so I wasn't the only one left out. Because of all the moments like this, I hated my hair. Loathed, despised, resented, and disgusted by it. These feelings did not stem from the direct looks and appearance of my hair. I loved the way it sat on my shoulders and it fell all messily across my back. I hated that it made me so different, so left out, and so uninvolved. While this experience was only one of many, it was deep-rooted in my mind within everything I did and filed back there with ballet practice, school pictures, and the countless YouTube how to naturally straighten your hair tutorial videos I stayed up late watching and always remembered to delete from my search history. I didn't want to be unnoticeable or what was considered to be normal. I wanted to continue to be loud and outrageous, full of dreams and aspirations, and the girl who's getting talks too much to peers written in the comments section of every report card. I didn't want to be noticed, isolated, and receiving the, wow, I could never manage that type of hair comments, and the, look at her hair nods and stares as I walk through the grocery store. As years went on, I realized I am the author of my own story. I film, I direct, and I act in every scene, and I determine what makes the final cut. My story is one of self-love, determination, and perseverance. A young woman working hard to become the best version of herself every single day. A girl who makes mistakes, and a daughter doing her best to make her parents proud. While these moments that shape me into who I am can be a small clip, this is not who I am in my entirety, but just a tiny segment. I will be a college graduate. I will be a sports broadcaster. I will open a foundation to support young women of color looking to diversify fields lacking representation. I will be the girl with loud and outrageous ideas, wildest dreams. So I ask you, what will you do?
And finally, I just want to extend a thank you to both Mentor and the Untold Narratives for providing me the opportunity to learn, evolve, and grow, and also giving me that space to be the girl with loud and outrageous ideas. And thank you for helping me find me. Thank you.
So what's amazing about that is, as a father of a girl, brown girl who has tons of big, huge curls, I can remember her coming home, being one of less than 10 girls of color in her high school at the time and saying, Daddy, these white girls won't stop pulling my curls. Right?
Yeah.
And not really knowing how to have the conversation with her about that. Right. I think maybe a little bit I was triggered because I was bald at that time. Jermaine, you with me? Yeah, Danielle, okay. But knowing that it affected her in a really prevalent way. So hearing Mia's story and just understanding that I've seen that in my own household, right, makes me want to just hug her, makes me want to sit down and talk to her like Mia, like give me some ideas, some thoughts, and how I can be better, right, as someone who identifies as male, for young girls who may be going through that experience. So that, for me, trying to pull that in and think about how I'm in the best space to make sure I'm delivering the right things to young people is always listening to young people first and then having those conversations. So that's what really showed up. I'm again coming back to you, Liz, because this is your thing. And this Untold Narratives is so powerful, and I think sometimes we overthink what we try to do, and when we see like just let young people talk, like can you speak a little bit about how did it come to you to just say, I'm just gonna let young people share their voice and maybe we'll put some pictures or something behind it, but here we are.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question because I've been doing a lot of reflecting on this, and I think it's important, this idea of voice and self expression, because sometimes things get co-opted. At least that was my experience when I was a young person. Growing up, I had an interesting story, and I would work for nonprofit organizations, and they would want to use that story for many, many reasons, whether it was funding or let's put her on stage because, ooh, look at what she's accomplished. And it was always uncomfortable for me. So I learned early that my story was my story, right? And I wasn't for other people to share, to tell. It was for me to tell. And how to tell that, I had searched for that answer for many years. I was looking for an outlet that wasn't going to exploit the things that I had experienced, and it was hard to find. So I knew if I was ever in a position to create that space, I would. And when I became that, in a position to do that, I did. And that's why this is so powerful to me, because no, I'm not going to sit there and tell them what to say or give them guidance on, hey, this is how you should say that. That's not the point. The point is we're creating safe spaces for people to be authentic and to be themselves, and that is so important. It shouldn't have taken me all these years to come to this, but so yeah, this is personal, right? But now that I'm here, I'm not going back, and I'm going to create as many spaces as I can for others, so that they don't have to go through that same process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
So true.
And thinking about that, Tony, how would you lean in just sharing, some of the things that you have seen and experienced? I know you're a mom as well. I know you work with tons of young people.
Yeah.
How have you seen this experience of Black and brown girls with their hair, what that looks like and feels like, and how do you support them in the best way?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have a 12-year-old daughter, Natalie, and she has all the curls and swirls and all the things. And she comes home with her stories, and it just reminds me of when I was in second grade. So with Mia, I can understand what is it about second grade, right? But in second grade, I remember that my second grade teacher, Mrs. McNertney, so wherever she is out there, she was such a gem to be like, you're gonna be the queen in this play. And I was so excited to be this queen in this play, and I was excited. And then Glenn came along, white kid. He was like, you're gonna be the queen? There's no such thing as Black queens. Why are you gonna be the queen? And I don't know what my parents had instilled in me, and I knew the story of Black queens, but I found myself saying, well, you got one now.
Yeah.
Period.
That's right.
And so I was able to share that with Natalie, my 12-year-old daughter, and she was like, oh, okay. And I gave her permission to be herself and to stand up and enjoy what she looks like. And so it was just good for me to hear Mia say, I will. And so that will help me tell Natalie, I will do what I set out to do, and how I look, and with all my curls and with all my stuff and with all my attitude, because she does have that, that she can go through life and embrace that.
Love that, love that. So when we think about this idea of DEI, or we think about being culturally relevant, and we try to get people connected to understand, right, the work that sometimes comes into, even my sons, with their hair, and my daughter with her hair, and thinking about other young ladies. I can remember being a school administrator, and one of the things that we talked about getting rid of, and we did, was that young ladies, especially our Black and brown girls, would come with their hair wrapped. And teachers would send them out of the classroom. No, they got a hair, they can't come in here with that. First off, that don't have anything to do with them learning. Secondly, if you're not culturally relevant, you may not understand that for them babies, if you want them at school, they might not be able to do their hair the way that you think it should be done for you.
Thank you.
Right? That wrap was the way that they got to school on time.
Period.
So let that baby be in class.
That part.
And I don't know, there's something that I feel that energy, Betty. Baby was like, period. So talk to us.
Yes, just saying. It's the hair industry, billion-dollar industry. And I'm sure, it is Black women taking up most of that, but I'm so proud of the evolution of hair care and being aware of our hair and really appreciating our hair. Now I got a little help today, but I wear my hair. I appreciate my hair, and I did not realize being younger. I remember I told my dad, there's this girl at school in third grade.
Okay, yeah.
And she had wavy hair, but I didn't know at that time it's genetics or whatever. I'm like, I want the wavy hair. And my dad told my mom to go get the crimp so I could get the wavy hair. But look, when I do my natural hair, I got wavy hair. I've had it all along. And so back to that representation and showing up for our girls. And you know, the reps. Sometimes it's insecurity. You know, I don't want to wear my hair, but I feel safe with having this on. So,
that's right.
and to your point earlier about men having a role, boys a lot of times make fun of girls, especially black girls. I mean, it could be a white girl who got a short little bob, but the black girl got the short bob and you bald head.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay. So we have a responsibility for that, to make sure we educate our boys as well.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And just thinking, you know, Des has a beautiful, beautiful curls sitting up here with her hair. I already see it. So just talk to us a little bit about your hair journey and what has that felt like for you going through that?
Oh, wow. I was biracial and didn't know it. I was adopted. And so I was raised by a black family, and my mother could not do my hair. So I oftentimes was the pigtails out here or just out everywhere. And I think for me, it's taken a lifetime to embrace the fact that I don't have to have long hair. I don't wear weaves, but I love the fact that everybody can rock anything they want to and have a choice.
That's right.
The biggest, my biggest inspiration for my hair is my daughter. She's 23. And she is a cosmetologist by trade. And she can whip up hair, braids, wigs, made her own wigs in 7th grade. Made them.
Wow.
And I asked, I said, baby, you got beautiful hair. Why are you putting that in your hair? She was like, Mama, I just like the way I can change my look and be me. So deal with it. When she said that, I'm like, I'm gonna let you get away with that one, is what I said. So again, I learned from her, I can just be me. And I don't even dye my hair anymore. And so I'm like, I used to feel that gray was old. I'm not old. I'm older and I'm wiser, and yes, I got a long way to go.
That's right.
Because we got work to do.
That's right.
No matter what my hair looks like.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, Betty, Dr. Liz isn't the only person who has brought some special guests with us today, so I'm gonna give it to you. Talk to us a little bit about who you brought with you today.
A treat.
Yes.
So I'm just excited about this next young lady that we're about to be introduced to, because when I was introduced to her, it made me reflect on, you know, the work that we do is so important. It's literally life-saving, not just transformation, but saving a life. And the impact of what we do, don't take it lightly. And this young lady that is coming to share her story is one that I hope everybody got their tissues. You know, because I'm just fell in love with her too. So I'm gonna let her take it from here.
Emotions are like storms. The stronger the emotion, the scarier the storm. It was hard for me to share my emotions, and because of that, I wrote this song, which is my suicide note. Hides behind the pain in her life, keeps saying that she's just fine, but on the inside, she really wants to die. Keep on calling for help, but it feels like nobody's there. This is what she wanted to say. I'm mentally exhausted, all of my demons constantly in my head talking. Got so many fake friends that treat me like an option. I choose not to talk cause this generation's toxic. If you don't believe me, you can shut up and be quiet. Took a bunch of pills, now I feel like I'm flying. I just want my family to know that I'm still trying. Made a pact in 6th grade, now my friends are dying. I pray that suicide will never be an option. Raised up in the church, so all I fear is God, yeah. All I really needed was me, myself, and I. And I'ma turn up to the what is mine, no lie, cause it's my time to shine. Wish that I could have a day to breathe, have the chance to show the real me, but anxiety gets the best of me, and I can never show people what I want them to see. Daddy's suicidal, mama's always sick, brothers keep on fighting, wanna call it quit. These suicidal thoughts, I wanna give in. My innocence was taken, I was just a kid. People tell me that I'm something, but on the inside I feel like I'm nothing. But I'ma stay focused, but at this point I know I'm broken. I'm mentally exhausted, all of my demons constantly in my head talking. Got so many fake friends that treat me like an option. I choose not to talk cause this generation's toxic. If you don't believe me, you could shut up and be quiet. Took a bunch of pills, now I feel like I'm flying. I just want my family to know that I'm still trying. Made a pact in 6th grade, now my friends are dying. I pray that suicide will never be an option. Raised up in the church, so all I fear is God, yeah. All I really needed was me, myself, and I. And I'ma turn up to the what is mine, no lie, cause it's my time to shine. I wish that I could have a day to breathe, have the chance to show the real me, but anxiety gets the best of me, and I can never show people what I want them to see. Growing up, I try to be the perfect daughter. I learned to work smarter, not harder. Looking back, all the tears that I cried, I wanna thank God I'm still alive. Grateful for the people that He gave me. Those are the people that raised me. All these obstacles, they can never face me. And I'ma keep counting my blessings. But society makes it hard to breathe. Now it's time to be the change that we all wanna see.
We may not have had a chance to say this in the front end, but y'all, one more time, give it up. Her name is Harley Frost. I feel like we need to take a little bit of a moment just to recognize your own space. I've said this a few times earlier today, and I'm going to stress it a little bit more right now. We spend a lot of time programming and making sure that our young people are okay. And what we do wrong a lot of times is that we don't pay attention to the fact that we keep putting triggered adults in front of these babies. You can't talk about commitment and care for these young people if you're not doing that for yourself.
That's right. Yes. Thank you,
Okay?
Marcus.
So Harley has come out, she's given us her story, she's shared a space with us that I know will have all of us talking throughout the rest of this conference and hopefully on your way home. But I want you to also think about how you take that and lean into your own heart. Figure out what self-care really looks like for you. It's important. Our babies need the best of you moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
When y'all leave out of here today, it's okay to give somebody a hug.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna come back up to our table though.
Yeah.
Betty, I wanna lean into you first because you know this is someone that you've seen, you've brought into this space. Talk to us a little bit about why you felt like this was something that was powerful for folks to see.
I mean, kind of like you said, our work, you know, what are we doing about self first, you know, that self-care, pausing, you know, and I'm guilty of that too. Like, you know, if I'm going, and not really pausing and thinking about, wait, am I good? You know? And this just reminded me too of my daughter. You know, she was bullied and she, you know, let me know at a time where she was really hurting. And I'm just like, how did I miss that? You know, how did I miss? And she didn't want me to take on because she knew I was busy. So she didn't want to add more to me. And I remember Harley Frost sharing that piece, honoring her mother in that way where, you know, my mom isn't the cause of this, but she had her own things going on. And that just put me in a space like, let me make sure that I'm good, and also attentive to whoever is in my space.
Absolutely.
You know. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think the other big piece that we need to think about when we try to change this narrative of mentoring is how do we get people to understand the importance of this work. It's not just about that one-on-one time that may be a conversation, right? But it's also leaning into what mentoring is. Mentoring is a solution strategy for mental health.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So when we think about this connection and what that does for us, sometimes we lose that even with our own kids, right? So hearing you say that, being in those moments where, man, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
But we do have life.
We do.
And those young people, they'll also recognize, like, Mom, it's not you. Like, I don't want you to feel like this is your space. So it's beautiful for us to think about that, but hearing Harley's story and recognizing that mentoring is a solution strategy for mental health is huge.
Yes.
Now, Des,
Yes.
I'm gonna hope you can get through this, because I know I've been seeing you over there tearing up, but I think it's important for you to share and to be vulnerable in this moment, right? Because our babies can't be vulnerable if they don't see us do that work, right? If we wanna get a story, we gotta give a story. So talk to us a little bit.
I was 13. I lost friends because I tried to talk to them about my feelings. My mother was adopted me in her 40s, and I was, 4. So I did not have mentors growing up. Not that I knew, I didn't have the word, but to lose friends meant I shut up. And I wrote a lot. I was a writer. I wrote plays, I listened to music, I was in the country, so I was outside. But we didn't have any kids in my neighborhood. So it was me and my outside. I'm not sure what saved me. Can't put words to that I did not try to. I hope my baby forgive me. But I had to deal with this when my daughter was 17. Right before her graduating. Luckily, because my mother was not there for me in the way that I thought. She was there for me in other ways. I made sure, baby, come to me. I don't care what you think I'm gonna say or what you think I'm gonna do. And I remember her saying to me, I don't feel okay. Mom, I don't feel okay. I don't feel okay. And of course, I said, all right, baby, let's go find some help. Yeah. She had been in mentoring programs because I was working in one in Memphis. I was in the movement. I was busy. So of course I blame myself when I did not see it for almost 2 years. So, I'm tearing up because I'm like, she's still here, I'm still here, Jacqueline's still here. We still here.
That's right.
That's it.
But I have a cause, I have a passion, and I have a reason. I don't want any of our young people, I don't want people to feel like they don't have anybody that they can count on, or anybody really that would listen. So I'm tearing because I'm actually happy. It's not a tears of sadness. I'm like, I got a space to create that for our young people.
That's right.
And I'm in great company. If you all did not see the slide with our Black and Brown Girls Movement affiliates that's finna lead this work with us this year, that's who they were. Absolutely. They sitting at this table. We got some out in the audience. I ain't doing this by myself. I wasn't by myself back then. Now I know it.
Love it.
So I call on them.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Santiago, before we go to Tony, because I know Tony has also brought some special friends, so we want to make sure we get into that, but I would love to give you a moment to just kind of reflect on what it is you heard from Harley. Can I just say Harley Frost is like the best name? Is anybody else like,
it is.
I was like, that is an amazing name, right? But talk to us a little bit. What did you feel?
Yeah, wow, it was very powerful. And I'm coming at this too as a mentor and as a teacher. I do a lot of teaching now, and I know you're seeing this because I'm seeing this. Our young people are struggling, much more than I've ever seen, actually. And when I was teaching, the number of one-on-one conversations that were requested of me for a young person to tell me I'm not doing okay. I'm struggling, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this class, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn in that assignment. And I'm just like, I can't be that person. I can't be the instructor or the teacher forcing you to do something when we're not okay. So that's when I put on the mentoring hat, which I think is so needed right now. And I'm glad, along with Desiree, that and the rest of the panel, that we're doing this work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that modeling of that, right? For young folks to be able to see that, like, you're not okay, we're not going to jump into this word, right? We're not going to be in that space. Again, like just leaning in and saying, right? A teacher, mentor, or coach that is not their own best model is really just a hypocrite with a little bit of dictatorship. We can't figure out ways to do this in the right way so that they can see how to move. Like, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, Tony, I also want you to definitely address, thinking about what you've seen from Harley, but then, I'm gonna give it to you to go ahead and introduce your special guest afterwards as well.
I'll do that. So, Harley Frost, I met her through Hip Hope, which is in Iowa. Sometimes we think Iowa is flyover country, but y'all, we got some good stuff happening in Iowa. But I heard her story, and I just knew that the mentoring community needed to hear it. And I'm so grateful for Hip Hope and all the things that they do in our community to help young people find themselves. And so I guess the first thing that came to mind for me, because I had heard Harley's story before, is all these young people that are hurting, but at the same time, just really thinking about the talents of our young people. And when we suppress those or try to put them in a box, what happens? And so just really saying to all of you, if you've got this special person that can write, or you've got this special person that can draw, that you just cultivate that and let them run with it and give them a voice to do those things. I remember a story about a little boy who he kept tapping in class, just kept tapping, and his teachers were like, you need to go. But he had that one teacher that was like, you're meant to be a drummer. And so he became this famous drummer. And so it's just those things like that, we got our eyes open to look at young people who can do a thing. And so that's the thing I think about with Harley.
I love
Very
that.
much.
And before you introduce your new person, Hip Hope is here, right?
Yeah, Hip Hope's
We want
here.
to make sure. I don't know if they're in the audience, but if is anyone from Hip Hope here?
They're in the back.
They're in the back, making it happen with Harley Frost.
Yes, absolutely. If y'all check in with Hip Hope, doing dope work. So definitely want to lift that up. Give it up for them.
Yes.
Go to Hip Hope. Yep.
Love that.
Creating that outlet.
Oh, yeah.
So, Tony, also, I know we got some other special guests, so talk to us.
Yeah, we do. And so I just wanted to share my story of how I got to know our next guest. And so I consider myself, you all, legacy, because my parents were both educators. My mom was the first African-American woman to be hired at the Ames Community School District in Ames, Iowa. My dad was give it up for my mom. She loved that. Give it up for Clemmy Jackson. Yes, absolutely. Dr. Clemmy Jackson, give it up for her. And then my dad was the first, one of the first to be named Director of Minority Student Affairs at Iowa State University. And both of them had a passion to make sure that that kids that were at risk of dropping out of school stay in school. That was my mom. And my dad was the one who wanted to make sure that African American students, especially first generation, were able to go to college and complete college, especially at a predominantly white institution. So I stand here today, just even in my second grade self, my third grade self, our home was a home away from home for so many people. So I stand here being legacy that I saw the work being done and I felt like I had to continue it to be in this work. So I'm in this work, and I just really want, especially brown and black girls, to design your lives so that you can just be the next.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
each one, teach one, reach one is what my dad used to say all the time. And my mom used to say, how can we help others see themselves so they can see themselves through? And so I've been at this work for a long time. And the truth of the matter is I was tired. So by the time I got to meet our next guest, I didn't really want to meet her, to be honest. I could have missed out. But what ended up happening was that I was tired. And so I have a tribe at home, white and black girls. We are just, that's our tribe. And I remember Laura Teskey sending us out a message that says, hey, let's go to Iowa State University lecture on black hair. You know, I think it was black hair, a form of social activism. I was like, no, thank you. And I said it in my mind, but my text message clicked thumbs up, okay? And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait for my other sisters. They'll go with Laura and I'll be good. No, they all, one by one, were like, I got this, I got that. And then Laura with her punky self, just self-activism self. She, white woman, beautiful. She was like, guess it's you and me, Tony. And I was like, okay. And I was tired because, you know, I don't think we talk about this enough, but with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, say the names. I'm sure you all can name all the things that we've been suppressing, seeing it, setting our egg timer to the next time we see another. I was tired. I was like, okay, I don't want to go. But then now I knew I had to go. So I went and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. You all, tornado warning. I mean, sky purple. And I found myself in the car. Like, what was I doing? I was going in the car. So I get to this lecture and I hear Sinclair, and I was like, she's mentoring. Wait a minute. In this beautiful book, I'm going to show you it so that you can go get it. My Beautiful Black Hair. Amazing. And so when I met Sinclair and saw her amazing smile and her heart for young people and I'll let her tell her story, but it was beautiful to me. And so I just want Sinclair to share it with all of you.
Wonderful to see everyone's beautiful faces out here today. This is my hometown, born and raised in DC, and so I really love that this conference is being held here at home for me. So I'm going to share a little bit about my sister Chloe, because when I think about mentoring, I think about my role as a big sister. And so when my little sister Chloe was only 4 years old, she was bullied at her school for having an afro. And so my sister went to a majority white little pre-K4 school. She was one of the only students of color in her class, and she wasn't getting representation from her classmates. She wasn't getting representation from the kids in her community, in her neighborhood. She wasn't getting representation from mainstream media. As we know, a lot of the kids' shows just have white characters with long, straight hair, and so she wasn't seeing herself and her beauty represented. And even within our own family, we have 4 siblings. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters, and Chloe has the tightest curl pattern out of all of us. And so even within her own family, she wasn't necessarily represented or seeing someone with hair just like hers. And so my sister came home from school one day crying because she said that her classmates had told her that her afro was ugly. And she was really upset. She was really ashamed about her hair, and she didn't want to go back to school anymore. And this made me think, what can I do as a big sister? Because I was already older, I was already finishing up college at the time, and I decided that I wanted to lead by example. And if I wanted my sister Chloe to love herself and to love her hair and her skin and her facial features, then I would have to do the same. And so what I did was I went around and I photographed Black women and girls across the country with natural hair. I asked them about their natural hair journeys and how they came to love their natural hair, because I wanted to show Chloe what self-love looks like. Not just telling her, you should love your hair, it's really beautiful, but actually showing her what that looks like in action and how these other women are doing that. And so I'm gonna read a letter that I wrote to my sister Chloe at the beginning of this book that I created for her. I wrote, "Dear Chloe, my beautiful, powerful little sister. When I was 18, a couple months before I started college, you burst into this world, a bundle of energy, ready to take up space and radiate love. You are so full of life, Chloe, so it seems only fitting that your hair is equally alive. Your afro reaches for the sun, and the sun grazes its tips. When you run on the beach, tracing the outlines of recent waves, your hair becomes alive. It bounces and dances and sings. Your hair hugs your face, holds it tight, whispers in your ear to remind you that you were the descendant of Africans, of Africa. You and I have different white mothers, but we are connected by our Black father, by our Black ancestors, brought from Africa in chains to the Caribbean. The power, the strength, the eventual liberation of our ancestors live within us. I am grateful for our Blackness, because our Blackness makes us powerful, makes us sisters. When Dad called to tell me you were ashamed of your afro, I became furious at the world for making you feel this way. Some people say that change must be gradual, that Black girls with natural hair must be patient as the media slowly but surely begins giving us a hint of representation here and there. But I don't believe in gradual change. So I took matters into my own hands, because you matter, and you deserve to know today that your natural crown is beautiful. So I want to lead by example. I want to teach you how to love yourself by loving myself, by introducing you to other Black women who love themselves. As Black women, we have to stop waiting for the world to love us, and we have to start loving ourselves unconditionally. Chloe, I want you to know that I love you unconditionally, but more importantly, I want you to love yourself unconditionally. Your sister, St. Clair. And so I'm going to, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to share a video that I collected from all of these interviews that I did with Black women with natural hair. And a lot of these women, I asked them to share a message with my little sister, and by extension, to any Black or brown girl who has ever felt like she's not enough in her body. So I will share the video.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
To little Miss Chloe, you have amazing hair. It's just so naturally beautiful. Your hair is absolutely gorgeous.
You are beautiful, you are seen. I mean, Chloe, I was you once. It was hard to believe myself to be worthy when the people around me, convinced me otherwise.
Growing up, I wish I had a sister or somebody who told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am.
You know what else I would say? Something else I would say is that we're all different, and that's okay.
Don't be afraid to be you. Your hair is definitely a part of you, so let it be a part of your spirit. Your hair will love you if you love it. You'll grow with it, you'll learn.
Chloe, stay natural, baby.
You have to keep your head high, and you have to surround yourself with people that love you to show you how to love yourself, and then share that love with everyone else.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just want to end with this message of self-love. So here are some of the women who I photographed for the book, and I want to encourage all of us as we're thinking about ways that we can mentor Black and brown girls. I want to think about how we can also embody the women, the people who we want to see them become. Everything that we want in those who we mentor, how can we embody that in ourselves? Thank you so much.
So, Marcus, I have to say, I'm so glad that I went.
You so glad that you went? Even with the tornado?
Even with the tornado, I'm so glad.
Awesome. I'm glad you went as well. Phenomenal. We don't have a lot of time left, so I just want to give the four of you all a moment to be able to share any last thoughts, right? Leaning into what St. Clair's presented to us in this last part with video and the hair and what she did for her little sister, but just for Black and brown women across the world with this book and the video and the conversations. So just taking a moment with all that we've had, right? Because I'm sure folks out there right now got all the emotions that are coming up for them, right? Talk a little bit, take a moment and just reflect on what has all this meant to you, Betty, and then we'll just come all the way around.
It just go back to our conversation. I'm proud. I'm so proud of Desiree, y'all. I keep telling her this because it means so much. It just means so much. You know, I didn't have this younger. I mean, you have your family, but they supposed to tell you good stuff. But I'm just so proud of this. I'm so proud of this moment. I'm so proud of the young ladies that shared today.
Yes.
Just be bold and
Yes.
just share their story, you know. And Black and brown girls, I'm just like, we busting in doors. We were talking about that earlier. And we gotta work, we work hard to sometimes just get the crumbs, you know? And I just believe this movement, it's just the beginning, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. I just feel proud. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I'm gonna say this, Des, because we're gonna come to you to end.
That's why I said I was gonna
Yeah,
pass it to Liz.
we're gonna come to you to end, so
Yeah.
you stay right there. Come on, Dr. Liz.
I mean, it's hard to build off of that, but I will, because
Snaps. You definitely.
well, similarly, first I just want to thank all of the speakers tonight. Like it is, this room is so full of love and joy,
Yes.
and that means so much to me as being part of this work. But also because Desiree, thank you for bringing me back and bringing me into this work. It means a lot to me. So thank you.
Love you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tony, what you got?
I'm feeling so many things, but so grateful that you all see me in this work.
Yes.
Because it's so hard. Everybody may have their stories of drama and trauma, right? And I have a beautiful family, and to have just space to be able to share that with all of you and to make space for when I see something that I'm just gonna connect and make it happen is great. And so for me, I look at this and say, it's not about us making this movement for us, it's from us.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we've already been standing here. We're not, this is from us. We're just making it known. So that's something that I just enjoyed today, is seeing that this is from us, not necessarily for us. It is for us, but it's really from us.
Absolutely.
Love that, Tony. Love that. Yep. Let's give it up. So I'm just going to say this for me, as someone sitting at this table who identifies as male, and I said this earlier, men, this is on us too. I want to make sure we remember that before we leave out of here today. This is on us too. This work is our work as well, right? But in that, sometimes we got to know when to shut up.
Period.
All right. I think that's my cue.
Right?
Thank you. Because we only have so little time.
Yes.
Thank each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. You all have just given me gratefulness. I am grateful. I'm grateful to be in this space to do this work. I encourage each and every one of you to find out more about our mentoring movement for Black and brown girls.
Yes.
We doing it?
Yes.
And don't forget to stop by the networking reception tonight, sponsored by Exeter. The reception will be right down the street, right there. Cube Libre Restaurant. I'll see y'all there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wrap.
Yeah.
Off air.
Yes.